Since 1978, when I started with one of the partners of ALLENS, who is now a partner of ALLENS, Philip Lear, my business as a firm of chartered surveyors, we were involved in all aspects of surveying and estate agency. That business was sold to effectively the Halifax Building Society, and I carried on my own as a chartered surveyor, ultimately being acquired by Hambros Bank and became North Regional Chairman of Hambro Countrywide. When I left there, I bought their residential letting business on the way out, and ALLENS were exceptionally helpful to me in dealing with that, because starting a new business in an area which was slightly unknown to me, setting up the accounts and everything was a little unusual, with a very big client account situation, so their involvement was very helpful there. We then built that business up quite significantly, and in 2004 I sold it to the Erinaceous Group plc, and again ALLENS were fantastic in helping us put together the sale process that involved. However, at the beginning of 2008, Erinaceous Group plc were in severe financial difficulties, and my son and myself bought the business back from Erinaceous, and again ALLENS were to the fore in helping sort out a huge mess that this plc had managed to create in only 4 years. However, as the clock was still ticking and my age was not getting any younger, we got to the beginning of 2012, and a fortuitous phone call from a firm who I've known for 20 odd years suggested to us that we might like to join forces with them. And indeed, on 31st October 2012, we sold the whole of the issued share capital of Residential Holdings, which was the holding company encompassing Jordan's residential lettings, to a firm called Leaders, backed by Beaumark Capital, their private equity company. And since then, the business has been being sort of engineered, put together with their systems and so on, so that it'll move forward. ALLENS have been involved at every turn on that, and now I'm a consultant to the overall group. I'm also an investor. I use my first choice after looking at the market, because I've always been a creator of wealth, not an investor of wealth. I used ALLENS Wealth Management division to invest a significant amount of my proceeds of sale, and their involvement and assistance throughout has been exceptional, and it will take an atom bomb to move me from ALLENS. First of all, they provide human, easily understood service and advice. There is no standing back on professional ethics, in the sense that some of the larger companies I've had dealings with in the past, you've got to go through a whole process to try and work out what it is they're trying to tell you. Whereas Paul Horrocks in particular has managed to distill extremely complex processes into words that I can understand. And for the first time in my life, when I'd met Paul, I began to understand the great detail of our accounts. We, in the business, I think we probably used every aspect of ALLENS, including the payroll, latterly wealth management I've mentioned, their accountancy services, doing the year-end audit or accountancy checks. They also carried out our client accounting audits, which had to be carried out in accordance with ALA and RICS regulations. I can't think what other departments they may have had that I haven't used, but I think that probably covers most of it. I understand the philosophy of don't put your eggs in one basket. It is different with ALLENS in the sense that you're dealing with, in a professional way, with someone you know and people that you know and can trust. Likewise, I'm a professional and I have clients who have used me all my professional life. Why do they do that? Well, it's because you get to know one another, you understand how you think, you understand the philosophy of companies. My company, right from the word go, is a little unusual, I suppose, in that every month we create a financial and business report, and that goes to the shareholders in the business, our bank manager and our accountants. And because we do that, everybody gets to know how the business is going, where the problems are, when we've hit a snag, and when you sit down and have a meeting with them, they're already up to speed with where you are. So it's a two-way trip. You've got to embrace the professionals that you have around you and work with them, as well as requiring them to provide you with assistance. They can help you grow by finding or advising you about elements of the tax system or elements of company accounting, which unless you are an expert in that area, you wouldn't necessarily be aware of. And certainly finding benefits in capital allowances, for instance, that we might not have spotted, purchasing capital items at the right moment to get the best allowances, is just one example of how their expertise can help save a lot of money, a lot of tax for the individual client. By all means, have a look around, but when you've looked around, come back to Allens. We started Jigsaw Property Care a couple of years ago with a view to providing a service to all the let properties that needed gas safety certificates, electrical safety, maintenance of all types, decorating, grounds maintenance and so on. Since I sold the business, I've taken a greater interest in Jigsaw. I'm in the process of acquiring new premises for it and a yard and so on. And Jigsaw is growing quite rapidly now. It has a grounds maintenance division which deals with looking after common areas on blocks of flats or industrial estates and so on. So we see a big future for it, particularly in a service delivered way. We have all our staff are employed, which is very unusual in the contracting business. And we know where all our staff are all the time, so we can by tracking their vehicles, we can divert them to an emergency at a moment. So setting up a new company and starting it off, one of the main things that I suppose experience has taught me over the years is to keep your overheads low and make sure that your cash flow is in place properly. So the great help that Allens have been with regards to Jigsaw is to provide us with, through their bookkeeping service, half a day, 1 day a week, a bookkeeping clerk to come and carry out some of the background bookkeeping for us, letting the technicians at the front end get on selling the service and organising the troops.